everyone, it's Aislinn here. So this is going to be going through my reading journal. Last year I did my very first reading journal. I learned a lot. There are some things I really liked. There were some things I really did not like, and I did not keep up with it for very much. I tried to scramble at the end of the year to, fill it in so I could show it. So I am by no means a journal expert. Like I said, this is my very first one. And so if you're looking here for tips and tricks, well, all I can tell you is that I watched a bunch of videos, and I will tell you what I did like and did not like. And then show you kind of what I've set up for 2025 after watching a few more videos and, learning from 2024. So first of all, here's my intro page. Nothing wrong with it. I liked it. There is going to be some bleed through just because I used some Sharpies in here. I personally don't mind if there's a little bit of bleed through, some ghosting, but that may really bug people. This is just a one I got off of Amazon, and I got it because I absolutely loved the cover. And ignore this. This was a cross-stitch bookmark I was working on with all of my books that I had read, but that project got lost in the move. So I think I did January on it, and at some point, if I find it again, I'll continue working on it. But that was my color, my color code. I'm not doing one of those this year. Then I did one of my favorite quotes from Throne of Glass. This particularly had to do about books, and it's, "Libraries were full of ideas, perhaps the most dangerous and powerful of all weapons." That is one of my favorite quotes from that series. And then I did a decoration for 2024 reading journal. This was... Initially, I had a goal of 100 books. I did not get anywhere near that goal. I actually read 59. I haven't filled these last two in, which now that I'm thinking about it, I should find a highlighter and do that. So that was laid out where basically I had just given myself little boxes and I was highlighting them off as I finished them, or, when I would do like my monthly wrap-ups. Goals, I wanted to finish my started series. This did not happen. I found in 2024 I have way too many started series, so that is changing for 2025, but it is kind of similar. And then every year I set my goal at 100 books, and I think I've met that goal once, and I think that was 2023. This is the part of the journal that I did not really find a use for, and I did not really like. I had thought it was a really good idea, and for me personally, and how I like to log things, these next pages, it was a waste. Honestly, it was a waste of space. But if you like it, I did I tried to do like a reading vlog, where I'd put the title, how many pages it was, or if it was an audiobook, how many hours it was, and then my average rating for it. And I mean, I did not keep up with this at all throughout the year. I think I did like 20, and then I had to go back at the end of the year, go through all of my pages, and then start adding them back in. And I just thought at least the way I laid it out, for the amount of space it took up, it just wasn't worth it. It was just reiterating information that was already later on in the journal. This is very helpful for some people, but it is not for me. And again, how I have found I have liked to log things. I have learned, no, I'm not doing it that way. These were how I set my ratings up. Basically, I keep my ratings fairly simple. Though when I want to do more reviews this year, so I did set myself up. I think it's called Craw Pie or something like that. A modified one, and I'll show that in my 2024. But basically, my ratings were 5-star was I will love it and I will reread it multiple times. 4-star is love it, but will likely not reread it. 3-star, when I did books at 3-star, they were average. I liked it, but I didn't love it. 2 stars were things I was on the fence about. I liked it, but I did have major issues with it, whether it be pacing or writing style or characters, world building, something like that. 1 star is didn't hate it enough to DNF it, but it was a forced read. And then, of course, DNF is did not finish or will never finish. I like the idea of doing a showdown to do a top favorite book. I have not completed this one yet. I have to go back and, do December so I can do it. But I don't really like this set up. And I'll show in my 2025 how I have modified this a little bit. But basically, I did my top reads of each month here. Then, was going to go head to head there, come up with this one, same with this, and I mean, you could follow it down. But overall, like the idea, didn't really like this particular spread. And then this was my little formatting cheat sheet. There was a lot in this formatting that, as the year went on, I found I really didn't really like. I like the idea of the author title, genre, page count, and the type of book, the start and finish dates. I got rid of this progress bar because I don't update my journal. I found I don't update my journal every single day. So this was pointless because by the time I would update it, the book would probably be done, or, it just wasn't, I didn't really use it. And then, of course, I had the stars for the book Out of Stars, which I just went over how I did my stars in 2024. But I also judged cover art because, yes, I do judge books by their cover. And then I had this okay, what to include in the summary. This was really good for the start of the year, and then it just fell off mid-year, and I didn't really like this much space. I didn't want to dedicate a whole page to a book again, which I'll get into more in 2025. So in January, I only read 1 book, and you can see where I actually broke down the review. And then you'll see at the end where where I went with it. And then February, so I tried to do these monthly title cards. I tried to decorate them up. I overall do like the decoration I had. I didn't invest a whole lot into decorating stuff just because I didn't even know if this was something I was going to keep up with. So, there was some scrapbooking paper I picked up and some washi tape, and that was about it. And then I just ran through. Again, you can tell here for the first little while, I kept up, but here's where it kind of started falling off, where I feel geez, I got a lot of wasted space here. I need to tighten this up a bit. Some books like this one, that really worked out, but then other books, no, it didn't. And then I'm just going to actually skip more. So again, here's 2 book spreads where I kind of stopped. This would have been in March probably. Yeah, this was still in March, I think. And, we started getting more and more wasted space here because I just started, scrambling with the summaries, not really having time to give something that I myself, would follow up with. There's April, and, there was... these ones, I had a couple months where there was only 1 book. So again, there's a bunch of wasted space where there was just some books I just did not have a lot to say. And This Only a Monster was one of them. Yeah, so there was more of that. There was Dewey's 24-hour readathon in 2025. I like this idea when I do readathons of, tracking and the books read, but you can tell I struggled a lot with this page. There's a lot of whiteout. There's a lot of scribbles. There were some things I really loved about this page, but then there were other things that was just whatever. I think the next time I do a readathon like Dewey's or something, I will probably do something like this on a scrap piece of paper and then tighten it up and to put in the journal later on a much nicer scale. You could tell I did not care about this page. I didn't even decorate it. It was just, yeah. But it's here, you know, and like I said, these are things that I learned. Here's me in November, just basically not caring anymore. Like, good sequel. I probably could have said a lot more on that book. But by this point, I was so far behind in the journal that by the time I was filling these in, I didn't remember what I had thought about the book. Here's another one. Like, this one I don't even have the printout of the cover. You know, same with these ones. I still have to fill in villain. You know, haven't done that yet. We're, you know, January 5th or whatever. So yeah, that is, that's kind of what I did and how it went on. And overall for the decoration, I mean, I did like kind of the scrappy feel of this. Yeah, I was not too impressed with 2024, and I think I bit off more than I could chew. I had a lot less time than I thought I would, and that. So now coming into 2025, this is how I set up my 100 book challenge. I have invested in some stamps, more scrapbooking paper. I did buy like some little journal pages off of Etsy. If I can find the link, I'll link it down below. But you can, if you just put like reading journal layouts or reading journal pages into like the Etsy search bar, there is so much stuff that comes up. So you can find anything to your aesthetic. Really, you could. Where in 2024, I tried to have like more of like a moon and stars theme. This one, I thought maybe more of like a vintage garden sort of theme. So this is how I've set up for my 2025. And then in each of these, as I read the books, I am going to write their titles in the little books. So at the end, this will have all the titles. Then I did a reading daily tracker. When I watched a few more videos, this was kind of something that really stood out and was really neat. And I thought, well, let's give it a try. I mean, I'm not going to know if I like it or if I keep up with it until I try it. So like right now, you know, I haven't filled anything in yet. Sorry, we're actually the 4th of January, not the 5th. I misspoke. I haven't filled anything in here yet, but I haven't really done a lot of reading. I've really spent the last 4 days, you know, getting you know, my hobby set up for my other channel, finalizing some of these layouts and just getting myself organized. And I usually do that for the first week of the year, is just get myself organized for 2025. And I do it that way every year. But I did try and, you know, decorate it up a little bit more, like I have from some scrapbooking. I have like a little rose here. I've got some different washi tapes that I've collected over the last few years that I'm, you know, trying to use. I absolutely adore these stamps. I got these at Michael's. And then I got some typewriter stamps off Amazon. So I'm really happy with how these pages are laying out and the stamps. Now, this is going to be the 2025 version of, you guessed it, if I can find it, of this one where I mentioned I was changing it up. I'm doing more of a this way rather than taking up 2 pages. And there should be enough room in this journal that I should be able to fit 100 books in. And if not, I'll add more pages at the end with flaps or whatever. I'll figure that out when I get... That's a future Aislinn issue. And then for... This is the showdown for this one. So this is just another way for tracking that I thought was really neat, and I actually might utilize a little bit more than this one. But this is one where you put like A against B and then A against C, B against C, and then that gives you your top like 10 reads. Or if you extend this, you could do like a top 25, or if you made it smaller, you could do a top 5. Like, you could really play with this. And then, so each month I'll put down, you know, what my favorite read of the month was. And then I will, you know, kind of come up with, and basically like at the end of the year, you would add up, okay, how many times did A show up There it is. How many times did B show up? There it is. And then you just put the numbers in order. I'm going to link one YouTube video that is really was really helpful. I can't remember who it is right now, but when this video goes up, I will have the link and I will put it down below. It was really helpful for me in deciding how I wanted this to look. Okay, so then I decided that instead of doing like a series goal of finish all series that I've started, I would do a focus page of series that I know I want to touch in 2025. There will probably be other series that I will read throughout the year, but these are the ones that I for sure want to touch on. So I have like the Brutal Boys of Everleigh Prep. This is, I call it the Lockdown series because it's more about a lockdown, and it's like that's the Kings of Quarantine, Kings of Lockdown, Kings of Anarchy, and the Queen of Quarantine. Then I got the Harper Hall trilogy with Pern. I put it on a series because I may continue on with other Pern books if I can find them, and I like this one. I got The Witcher on here. Now, I did technically read the first 4 already, but I actually want to go back and reread them. I have Warcraft, War of the Ancients. That's a trilogy, but again, it's part of a much larger series. So if I like these books, I may go look for other Warcraft books. For Mistborn, I have read the first one, and I would like to go back and reread that one and then continue on. I know technically this is there's more to it than this, and Mistborn itself is only 3 books, but I just added it on for this is the Mistborn trilogy, and then I think it's the Alloy of Law was one of the books, but there's a sequel series anyway of 4 books, and I'd like to read those 7. I do believe there is a even Carry On that's more of a sci-fi. I don't know if I'm actually going to read that one, to be honest, but for sure the original Mistborn trilogy and then its sequel Quartet I'd like to read. The Elf Queen series, that's 4 books. Captive Prince, 3 books. Red Queen, this is going to be a reread for me. I have never actually read the last book, but to read the last book, it's been so long, I'm going to have to go back and read the rest of the series, but I remember it being really good, so a reread, not a big deal. Same with Throne of Glass. I have not read the last 2 books, but it's been so long that to get the last 2 books, I got to go back and reread the others, so that's what I'm going to be doing there. The Elric Saga, I have the 3 omnibus books, but they are actually 12 stories in total, but I have them in like big hardcover editions, and they're omnibus. There is the Carne series, The Empire of Silence, or The Sun Eater. That's the first book. It's the Sun Eater series. There's 6 books in that one. Maze of Shadows, this is a romantasy series. Paper Magician is a YA steampunk, I believe, series. And then Ember at the Gates is another YA series. And these ones I have thrown on. These last 2 I threw on because they have been on my Kindle for literal years, and I'd really just like to read them. And, I need to give myself an excuse. So that is kind of how I set up, for series that I definitely 100% want to focus on to touch in 2025. And then I kind of did reviews, how I'm going to lay out my reviews this year. So I'm still keeping with my star reviews. This year I decided to use stickers. They're probably a little big, but whatever. So again, 5 stars is loved and reread multiple times. 4 stars is liked and will reread probably at least once. 3 stars is liked but will not likely reread. 2 stars is didn't love or hate. It's kind of middle of the road. I have changed my 1 star up to why didn't I DNF this? So if I finish a book and I, at any point contemplated DNFing it, that is, excuse me, they're going to get 1 star. And then with covers, I love the art. I wish more covers were in this style or had this artist. Number 2 is pretty, but not my favorite. And number 1 is not embarrassed to have on my bookshelves, but it is not something that I'm going to showcase. And then a heart with an X through it is hate it and would die before I display it on my shelves, because there are some books with covers like that. Really, really good stories, but man, they suffer from bad covers. And then this is just more each book throughout the year when I do actual reviews for them, which I won't be writing in the journal. This is just more my reference for like my Goodread reviews. I'm going to be doing it on 5, and they're going to have point systems, and this will also help me toward deciding my top read of the year. So for characters, 5 points. I love them so much, I would die for them. My printer is going to beep here in a second because it just finished something, so bear with that. And then 4 is, they're really good. I relate. 3 is like some, hate some. 2 is could not care less about these characters. And number 1 is hate them all. Chances are, honestly, if characters are on a 2 or 1, it's probably going to be a DNF book. And then similarly, I wrote for atmosphere, writing style, plot, and intrigue or logic. For me, this is more on how engaging is it? Is it one that I couldn't put down or wait to get back to? Will I read more by that author? Was there a few surprises or feelings along the way? Was it predictable or boring? And did it drag on? And I'm happy it's over. Nothing in here would really lead to specifically to a DNF. It just means it might be a 1 or 2 star if, something in here didn't give it a whole lot of points. These points are not going to be derivative of any star. Again, this is just my reference for how I'm going to start writing my reviews going forward. And I put it in here so I would have an easy reference. Other than that, that's it. The rest of the book is going to be dedicated to the books I read. Similar to my original layout, I'm going to have the title, some of the book information. There won't be a progress bar. And then in the summary in here, it's going to be short 1-sentence points. So I'm going to take each of these 5 things and I'll do a short little 1-sentence in here. And if I do that correctly, I should be able to fit 3, maybe 4 books per page. I'm going to aim for 3, but if I can weasel 4 in, I will. And that'll be it until the end of the book. And that is how I have set up for 2025 and what 2024 looked like. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, I guess, and kind of what I learned in my first year of trying to do a reading journal, and how I'm changing it up for the next year. And that's going to be it for this video. So everyone have a happy 2025, and I will see you guys in the next video.